Hello and welcome. We're going to give a few minutes for others to join us. We're a small group so far. If you have any questions today about water quality testing or anything you're learning in the course, feel free to type those into the poll box that just popped up. We'd love to spend today answering any questions that you might have. You're also welcome to drop questions in the chat at any time today or to unmute and ask your question. But while we're waiting, feel free to please pop in any questions that you have. Welcome to everybody who's been joining us. Thank you so much for being on the call today. We're just going to give another minute or two for others to join. If you have any questions for our session today, please feel free to type those into the poll box that's on your screen. You're also welcome to type them into the chat or raise your hand at any point today to ask those questions. Okay, well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the effort to join our office hour session. Um, I will leave the poll box up for a few more slides. So if you have any questions that you would like to discuss today, feel free to type it in to that poll. I think everyone on this call has already been to an office hours session, so these are just reminders. Welcome, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are. This is our time to learn together, so please feel free to ask questions. Also, feel free to answer questions. You're going to have a different perspective than I might on some of these topics, so we welcome everybody's experience and perspective here. There will be some polls today, some quiz opportunities as well. So please make sure we participate in those. And again, if at any time you do have a question, that's really what we'd like to focus on today. So you are welcome to type those into the poll box that's up right now, or at any time today during the chat, or by raising your hand to ask questions. Again, that's really what these sessions are for. We've prepared a little bit of material, some questions for you, mainly to jog our memory and maybe come up with some questions, make sure that we're covering the topics in the course. But our hope today is that we get to answer anything that might be a challenge for you as you've been going through the material. If you've been with us in the past couple of weeks, we've been doing some group quizzing. And so you've had the opportunity to earn points for your team. We're going to do that today as well, just a little bit different. We're going to have some polls mixed in with some Let's Talk slides. So the Let's Talk slides will be your opportunity to win points for your group. And so we'll do it first person to raise their hand and to answer the question will get the points for their team. So hopefully that will be a fun way to do it today. World Vision, if anyone from World Vision's on the call, you guys are really high in points. So we'll see if we can get some of the other groups up there in points as well. So if you don't already know your group number, maybe go into the course and look that up, or you can ask in the chat and I can look that up for you. Okay, quick reminder of where we are on the course schedule. So this is week 5. We're almost at the end of week 5. So we've been looking at the second half of Unit 3 on water quality testing. And so we will wrap that up kind of today and this weekend. We will wrap up our discussion on water quality testing programs. And then next week we move into our final unit. So we're going to start today just with a quick review of last week's session, because again, this is the second half of our unit on water quality testing. So want to make sure if we catch any questions on that unit as well. So in Unit 3A, we covered kind of how water quality testing and SIs go together to form the complete picture. We talked about how we prioritize parameters based on national standards, local risk, and feasibility. And then we also covered testing methods and field testing equipment in those topics. So just before we move into 3B, we'll have opportunity today to touch on these topics again. But are there any questions that you had from Unit 3A that you'd like to clear up before we move ahead? All right, well, we'll go ahead and close the poll box for questions. Thank you to those who dropped your question there. That's going to be very helpful. We'll make sure we get to those today. And then again, if you have questions, if you have questions at any point today, please raise your hand or put them in the chat. Let me go ahead. We got 2 questions, so thank you. Appreciate that. And so the first question is there a number of parameters that should be analyzed to determine water quality? And so this is kind of a 3A question, so perfect timing. We do talk in 3A about how to prioritize our water quality parameters. So I would say that there's not a certain number, right, that we need to get a full picture. It's more so that we need to look at a few things to determine what the right parameters are. So first thing being your national standards. So what is your government or your usually government, but maybe local district, what do they say needs to be tested in your area? So they might have a set number of parameters that they want to see you testing. So that's usually the first place we look. Different governments will set different regulations. And so we did talk about that a lot last week as well, about why those might differ in different areas. So that's the first thing to consider. And then secondly, your local risk and what's feasible. So you want to look at what's common in your area, what might be high risk in your area. Um, Arsenic and fluoride, those change a lot depending on where you are in the world. So whether or not you test those will depend on where you are. And then finally, feasibility. So which ones can you test realistically? Which ones can you get good answers on? That'll play into what you choose to test. So again, not a certain number that you need to go for, but common ones, of course, are E. coli, turbidity, chlorine. Those are usually recommended for systems. But beyond that, you'll have to look at what's mandated in your area and what is local risk. Feel free if you have follow-up questions to that. You can place those in the chat or again, raise your hand and speak up. I see a hand up. Yes, Trivash.
No follow-up questions. You answered it well. Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. We did have one more question that we'll just go ahead and start off with today. Um, so we had a question about one of you is experiencing some issues with a well. I think this is Abel. Um, so you've said you've done a lot of SIs and the scores are always low, but then you always get E. coli in your testing. Even when you do shock chlorination, you say it's just a matter of time and then the bacteria is back again. Um, so that can be a common challenge. Um, and there are a couple of things that could be happening. So it could be that, yes, there's truly just E. coli continuing to come back into your well, and that could be an aquifer problem. So it depends on what kind of well you're working with, and if there's potential for that to be coming in. You might need to, again, like through your SIs, you say the scores are always low, but just looking to see if there are any potential contamination sources around. Maybe farming or livestock that could be sending runoff into your well. But some of those are hard to tell, right? If you've got a deep well that you can't see inside and can't see maybe how well it's cased. The other thing to check, of course, would be, as we're going to talk about today, your testing procedures and just making sure that your samples are taken correctly and that they're handled correctly. If they're being sent to the lab, that kind of transportation process is done well, right, with ice and everything that we would recommend. And so we can talk through some of those today as well. But yes, it just depends on where is that contamination coming in. If you're saying that you do the shock chlorination and immediately after that you're not getting any E. coli in your samples, then that could be indication that your sampling is good and accurate. It's just that yes, that E. coli is coming back into the well from some source, and then potentially treatment with chlorination would be a good solution in that case. So Abel, if you have any other questions about that, feel free to raise your hand or again type that in the chat. Right, so thanks again for those starter questions. That's really helpful. We'll jump into some 3B review. So again, today we'll have a few polls that everybody can participate in, and then we'll also have some open discussion questions. and I've assigned points for those. So that will be your opportunity to kind of win points for your groups. So we'll do, when we see one of those slides, we'll just say, you'll be first person to raise your hand and answer the question. We'll have opportunity for those points. And then anyone else who kind of types into the chat or answers the question or adds something, maybe will get a few points as well. And we'll do it that way today. Again, if at any time one of these polls sparks a new question for you, just again, raise your hand, type it in the chat. That's what we'd love to cover today is your questions. So we'll start off here just to see how everybody is feeling today about Unit 3B. All right, so if you'll kind of rate each one of these topics, one being not so confident and four being very confident, how do you feel about quality assurance, quality control, how and where to sample water, effective data collection, and then staff capacity and training? Welcome, everyone who just hopped in. We're just starting off with this quick poll about how you're feeling about some of our topics for 3B. So feel free to join in on that. We have a lot of confidence in where to sample water, how and where to sample. That is wonderful. We're feeling pretty confident about most of these topics, which is great to hear. Okay, well, thanks everybody. That's helpful to see today. That can help guide our discussion on which questions we're having. Um, so again, just a lot of confidence on how and where to sample water. Pretty confident on data collection as well. And then maybe just a little bit less on QA/QC and staff capacity. So that's good to know. Okay, so we'll start off with a little bit of lab accreditation this morning. So when selecting a lab, why is accreditation important? And so you can use the poll. If for some reason the polls are challenging, maybe you're joining on a phone, you're welcome to type your answer into the chat as well if you'd like to participate. But why is accreditation so important? Yeah, so a lot of votes for it provides verified proof of quality and reliable results. Yeah, that's overall, that's what I say we're looking for when we're looking at accreditation. So it ensures the results are accurate and reliable and that they meet the quality standards. Um, because they have set processes, it might ensure a faster turnaround time. We had one vote for that, but I think in a lot of cases when things are done well, they tend to take a little bit longer, right? When we're doing every step of the process correctly, maybe it actually takes a little longer sometimes. But overall, we're looking for that proof of quality and being sure that things are going to be reliable, that we can trust them, the answers that they're going to give. And so we talk a little bit about that in the course, um, about what accreditations specifically to look for and what we would recommend in that. Um, and so we're going to go into an open discussion question here about this. So we'd love to know how you currently decide which lab to use and what challenges you face in ensuring the quality results. So again, for this opportunity, I've signed 100 points. So kind of first person to maybe raise their hand or speak up, want to share your perspective on this question. You can get points for your group. So how do you currently decide which lab to use? What challenges do you face in ensuring quality results? If you don't already have a water quality testing program, how would you decide? So that could be a hypothetical, if you don't currently have a program running. Martin, I see your hand up.
Hey, Jessica, I'm not sure if my audio is good. You can hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, for us, we work with government lab, and so we have established a memorandum of understanding with the government agency that is in charge of doing what testing for the government. So we also use it to do testing for our organization. That gives us a bit of confidence that since the government has that lab, then we'll get positive results. However, the challenges that we face is sometimes uh, they may not have some reagents, and then that we find that we're not able to do the full spectrum of what we have to do, or they may not have capacity to do some tests. For example, we want to analyze for trace metals, then currently they're only able to do bacteriological and physicochemical tests.
Hmm.
Over. I hope it was clear.
Think, yeah, thanks, Martin. That's great experience to share. So you're typically using the government lab, but sometimes that means they have lower capacity or even can't quite do all the tests that you might be looking for.
Yes.
But yeah, I can see how that would be a challenge. Martin, what group are you with?
What vision? What vision? Good.
Oh, nice. I love water mission, obviously. Welcome. Do you remember what group you are in the course, which discussion group you're in?
Uh, One.
Group one. Awesome. Okay. We're going to say 100 points to group one. Thanks for sharing that, Martin. I see other hands up as well.
Sorry to jump in, Jessica. I think
You go,
World Vision
Tom.
has its own group.
World Vision. I think he said water mission. Martin, did you say water mission or World Vision?
World vision. World vision. So,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks, Tom. Cool. Okay. We'll get Martin down. I see other hands up as well, so I'd love for others to share. So we're going to say 50 points to anyone else who wants to share their own experience. Linda, I see your hand is up.
I'm in group one.
Awesome. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you. So for us CWSA, we don't have the laboratory. And so what we do is that we have an accredited company, which is Ghana Water. So our water safety specialists will go and do the sampling And after the sampling, we take it to JWCL to do the tests and then we go for it. The challenge is that most of our water systems are very far from where our offices are. And so sometimes, and then the nature of the road and some illegal mining activities. So sometimes we go for the sampling, and when we are returning, we have issues with the road not being good, and so the time that we are supposed to get to the lab, it overstays, and then we are asked to go back again. At some point, what we had to do was to inform the company themselves so that they will rather go and do the sampling and do the testing so that we would deal with the issue of we delaying or we having um, not getting to the lab on time. The other challenge is that sometimes in some institutions it is only when the organization is coming to audit or coming to check whether testing is done, that is where we have to rush and go and do the sampling because of lack of funds or resources. So this is a serious challenge that sometimes we have. We know that the standard is that in a year we have to do the chemical testing twice in a year, but sometimes we are unable to do it until the following year. So these are some of the challenges that we have been facing.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Linda. That's a great experience to share. Have you found, you said that you have the lab do the testing instead because it reduces the delays. Are they able to get to your projects and do the testing maybe faster than what your employees can do on their own?
Yeah, I think that currently we had a support from your end where we were giving some testing kits for us to do
Mm,
the pH, the we have to do the pH, the chlorine residual. But for
mm,
the chemical ones, like that one, we have to take it to GWCL. We have
mm,
written a lot of petitions so that at least a mini lab can be um, constructed at the regional offices so that some few testing can be done, which
mm,
we are hoping that this time, especially when in western region of Ghana, illegal mining has taken over, and some of the scary results we are getting from our testing, the government will take it serious and
mm,
support, especially those of us managing rural water, so that we can have some labs closer to where the water systems are. So at any point in time, we can deal with the situation before it escalates.
mm,
During my answering, I posted two of the pictures. That was a community where two of the tap stands, people started having diarrhea. And even as
mm,
at the time, it took us about 8 hours traveling from the office to the location. And when we got there, we realized that it was beyond that. So we had to call for the expert from JWCL to come and do the sampling for us. So we are hoping that
mm,
our proposal will be taken in good faith and then try to do some mini labs for us, especially those of us at the rural sector.
mm. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Linda. Those are some big challenges. Sounds like you're on a good path, figuring out how to do a kind of your own mini lab to get some answers, at least in the meantime. Um, that's great. All right. So, oh yeah, Thanks, Tom, for putting those pictures in. That's awesome. That's great to see. Okay, Linda, I'm going to give you 50 points. Thank you so much for putting your own
50
answer for
points?
the
What,
question.
what?
Well,
This is a 100
okay,
point score question
Martin was first to answer the question.
still, but I think the
That's
quality of the question
okay.
deserves,
All
I'd
right.
say, I was going to say 200 points, but
It was a great response. I appreciate it. Okay, 100 points,
I'm trying,
Linda.
Linda. I'm trying my best.
Thank you,
I love
Tom.
it.
Thank you.
Okay. I see several more hands raised, and so we're going to give everybody an opportunity too, because I'd love to hear everybody's probably got different challenges in different situations, and I'd love to hear those as well. So, Nelson, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Nelson from Mozambique World Vision. Well, the main challenge that we are facing here for water test quality is the first of all, we don't have many laboratories here that we can do the testing. Basically, the laboratory that we have that belongs to the government, and we have here the rules that every water point has to be handed over to the government with laboratory tests. And we can imagine most of water point they used to come with the good results because we don't have another laboratory that we can double check the results. We have to accept the result that is coming from the laboratory. And in many times, the community used to come and complain because the water is giving the bad test, sometimes coming with a little bit during the rain season and with another kind of complications. So this is the first challenge. The second one is the distance between where we're having our operations to the laboratory. So in average around 200 kilometers. Okay, 200 kilometers in highway is not that big issue, but because we are working in the remote area, basically we used to drive for at least 7 hours. And during the rain season, we don't have how to come from the field with the sample to the laboratory. This is the second one. The third one, because in I'm talking about under World Vision operations, we are dealing with the private operation. So basically, they're the one that they're doing the drilling, they're collecting the sample, they take to the laboratory. And as you can think, okay, there's some kind of corruption as well. So basically, we never had a situation which the water sample came and the results came with bad results. Basically, 100 samples that we are sending to the laboratory, they are coming with 100% of good results. The question is, it is true? We have 100% of water quality in each borehole that we are doing, and we don't have how to double check because we don't have private laboratories here. Over.
Mhm. Thanks, Nelson. That the last one's an interesting challenge to me because being able to trust your good results, that's a tough challenge when you start thinking about maybe, wait, is this right? Because they're all too good. Um, that's a challenge. Tom, please.
Great example, Nelson. So, how do you think you could check if the samples that are being taken by the drilling companies that they are being tested as they need to be? What do you think you could do to check? I think this is part of kind of quality control. Don't need an answer right now. Have a think through the session. That's my question to you.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank
Tom.
you. Thank you. Can I answer now, or I should wait a little bit?
Yeah, Nelson, go
Please
ahead.
do.
If you have an answer, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Basically, for physical parameters, basically, we don't have that big issue. I did not mention the first time that that issue is mainly for the chemical analyze. For physical ones, we're using water tech to test like a pH, conductivity, and others. Those one who don't have that big challenge. Okay, only for chemicals analysis. So the first solution that's coming to my mind for the moment is to maybe to have the equipment, the material that we can do our own analysis, at least for double check. Okay, at least for double check. This is what coming to my mind for the moment. And I accept suggestions also from my colleagues. I see some of my colleagues here and from other.
Great. Yes, if you had your own equipment being able to test these parameters, you could do some double checking. And perhaps if resources are tight, you could maybe just test every 10th or every 50th sample, perhaps. But what if you didn't have any equipment? Jessica, if you want to come back to this question later, that's fine. But what if you didn't have any equipment? Is there anything you think you could do? We can come back to this. Jessica, I'll let you lead.
That's a great question. I think let's think about it. Everyone can have a chance to think about it, and we'll come up on our QA/QC section in just a minute, and that'll be a great thing to talk about. I want to make sure we have a few more hands raised. I want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to add in. So
and Nelson, would you like to donate your points to Group 1 or Group 2?
I belong to World Vision.
Well, are you sure? World Vision, you have loads of points.
World Vision's coming in strong.
Jessica, how many points for Nelson?
I think we got to go 100.
Okay,
if we're going to go 100, we'll go. Yeah. Really appreciate everybody sharing their experience.
And their points.
Abel. Yeah. Let's hear from Abel.
Thank you very much. The name is Ayebale from Uganda. Yeah. I work for WHH or Verutunga Hilifi. And our context may be a little different, but quite interesting because we have two types of laboratories that are certified. One is the National Water and Sewerage Corporation, which basically is in the urban areas, but also the Ministry of Water and Environment national laboratories, which are up to the regional level. So now, context one of our water quality testing is that when we contract borehole drilling or rehabilitations or piped water systems construction, in the contract we put in a clause of water quality testing, and it should be water should be tested from the certified laboratories, and majorly the national laboratory, which is at the regional level. So we usually have those results which come to through the reports, but we don't end there. As an organization, we have an in-house microbial toolkit, and this is where we combine the sanitary inspections, and we also go back and retest every water point in-house to make sure that we are not compromised by what could have happened, because sometimes we are not sure what the contractors are about to do. So what happens is that we retest again, because usually microbial tests, contractors may take time to take the result, rather the samples to the laboratories, and there will be a lot of compromise. Number two, of the advantage that we thought it was to have the in-house water quality, that as we supervise these water supplies, we also sometimes not sometimes, but we want to understand the ambient conditions of the water. right from the aquifers, and this can be done during drilling or during borehole pump tests. So parameters like pH, electrical conductivity, and temperatures, we do them on site so that we are able also to understand if it's a hand pump, which type of materials do we have to order for such a hand pump, because if water is aggressive right from the site, then we know maybe depending on how aggressive it is, we know that maybe even stainless may not manage. Another factor is quality control. When you are doing boreholes, sometimes there are intrusion of minerals, salts. So especially when you have an electrical conductivity and pH meter, we are able to save some boreholes because it means every water strike you hit, you have to understand the quality of that water strike. If the subsequent one is not good, of which we have had such experiences, then we already know there is an intrusion and you wouldn't want to do cross, to infect the upper one with the lower one. So you end up plugging such aquifers and sealing them off, and you use the safe ones. So looking at those contexts, I think the biggest challenge is trusting the contractors, not because they don't do good work, but the time taken to move the samples, because they are looking on at the economic part of it, moving samples from the field to the laboratories, it will be more than 6 hours, and they will not be taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 samples. Because of the economic part of it, they would want to almost gather all the samples and take them once. Yeah, so that is the major challenge that we can be facing. But at least we have a remedy for that with the portable toolkits that are in-house. So also, I think asked about some of a few hand pumps where the sanitary inspections have showed low risk or actually no risk, well constructed, because we have video investigation cameras that we use to investigate these boreholes when we have a few things that are not working right. Yeah, these boreholes, you find construction is good. You don't have screens in the overburden layers. Screens are deep enough. And the slabs or the slab around the hand pump is well casted. I don't think you could have localized contamination. So, but still, even after shock chlorination, you are safe for a couple of days. Later, after some good weeks, when you test again, you are back to ground zero. So I wanted to understand where the problem here can be, and sometimes if through your expertise, anyone has encountered such, how have you dealt with it other than decommissioning a water point? Because sometimes budgets to drill a new water point to replace that may not be readily available. I thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your context with the water quality testing in the different labs, and then for clarifying the problem that you're having. So it's helpful to know that that's a hand pump situation that you guys have constructed. Um, I'll open it up. Has anyone else had a situation where they've got their hand pump, they've built it, they're fairly confident that it's been constructed well, their slab is in good condition, and yet a few days after you shock it with chlorine, you continue to have E. coli coming back into your samples. Has that been a common challenge for anyone else on the call?
Do I answer the question in the chat? Is it okay? Oh.
Oh, yes, you can answer that one as well. I think Tom had a follow-up question for you.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to, you can either, if you want Than to have a go, maybe answer in the chat, if you can, and then,
It's okay.
well,
Yeah,
as you like, Jessica. Just seeing.
I have to admit and say the links for the testing institutions that you have put are correct. Those major are the ones that we have. And then about the most expensive parameters, still, to be honest, it's microbial tests that are
Wow.
very expensive.
Wow.
And that's one
That
reason
surprises
why
me.
that's why we ended up having a mobile kit also. Apart from other tests like arsenic is also expensive. With those rare heavy metal tests are also a little expensive. But every time we include microbial tests in the contracts, we see the prices skyrocketing.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. That's surprising. That surprises me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I do want to hear from Than because I know your hand has been up. Abel, for your other question, I'm gonna summarize your question in the Q&A forum, and let's see if any other learners in the course have had a similar challenge, and we'll see if they can share it in that way. Cool. Okay, so Than, I think you're the last one with your hand up. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, so thank you. So there's two. So the first one, how can we design the lab to use? Actually, I also can say within our context also. So first thing I think that's very important is we need to choose the one that I have enough technical capacity and also equipment, because actually like we have been use several the labs before, and the first some of them that we like, I mean the few of it they sent it directly, and they didn't take the input from ours, from technical support from our. So but finally we saw that like some of the parameter that is not include is very important but not include in in the list of testing. So that is when we find out they don't have a capacity to do that one. So that is one of the things that is very important. First thing is the technical capacity and the equipment of the lab, that they ensure they can test all the parameter that meet our requirement. And in our context, the second thing we also need before decide the lab is in the Vietnamese government, it's only the certified water quality testing center that qualified by government that can do the test. So this is also another factor. Like we also need really very carefully considering like to choose the one that they already qualified. I mean certified by government. And the third thing, the distance also really important, like because we can see like during also write very clearly in the unit 3B that some parameter can only be tested during the requirement time, like E. coli is only from 6 to 8 hours with the cold chain, and another factor also is and yeah, last but not least, I think the cost of the test also, because we have very big range of the cost of testing. So there's some of them, I mean, like the center that I do a lot of tests with, the cost will be much cheaper compared to other one. Yeah. So that also really one of the very important factor we need to consider. And in Vietnam we have several challenges, like with some other other colleagues said before, is because our most of our operation area is located in mountainous area, and it's very far from the center and the central province. So that is also one of the challenge that um yeah, if the few office want to do the test, I mean like they need to to take a lot of time, and And also like if they need, they can do, if they want to do the on the same on the I mean like in the requirement time, they will need to transport that by themselves with the private car very fast. Yeah, otherwise it will not meet the requirement the time and in the meantime that the other tests also not allowed to be tested without the certified center by world government. Yeah, so we also cannot like the rapid test in somehow is also for one reason also is not really apply. We cannot really apply. And yeah, from and we came with some solution that we combined with the technical agency to train for the health worker. Yeah, before the district health worker, so they can support us to take the testing because we currently partner with them. So to implement all the activity include health, nutrition, and also the wash activity in the field. So they will provide. I mean, they will after training, they also can provide them. I mean, to take the sample. So our One Vision staff also will transfer it to the lab. Yeah. So that is one of the and the second thing that we work with the programming team, like to sign the frame contract with with the provider, with the service provider, and to sign with the one that who already is certified by government that and they meet the all the requirement. I mean, we send a quotation to them and to ensure that all the parameters they can have enough capacity to do that one. So we sign the frame contract with all the center that have meet that standard. So it's also take less time for them to find out the center. And there's another challenge that we also meet is some of the few office they say when they make the contract with the provider, like they also include the water quality testing within the service, like when they provide, I mean, like when they drill the borehole or when they build the water system, they include one of the requirement is water quality testing at one of the tasks of the provider. So that is not really, I mean, it's one of the really conflict one that I mean, like they finish the system and they also provide water quality testing. So we find out that one and we have the policy that I issue the policy that water quality testing will be do separately by another technical, I mean, the agency or maybe the water quality center that qualified by government, but never been included in the same service with the one who build the borehole or build the water system. So this is also in the beginning we have some challenge in that one because yeah, but when we fire, we also work with some senior leadership to issue that policy. That did it work better now? Yeah, I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Those are some unique challenges. I appreciate how you've partnered though with health workers and then service providers who are already qualified to do some of their own in-house testing to help you do those a little faster and confirm some of your results. That's a great solution. Um, Great. I really appreciate everybody jumping in on that question. We've used almost our full time talking about this. So again, really appreciate everybody's input here. Even Elvis has come in on the chat. So Elvis, I appreciate you typing in your response there as well. I'm going to pause for a moment and just ask if there are any questions, again, that you'd like to cover today. We just have a few minutes left in our call already. So any questions about 3B or anything else in the course that you'd like to talk about today? Yes, Annabelle, I see your hand up.
Yeah, thank you once again. I may not have a question, but to really thank the course, the training, and all that we are so far going through, because I have been doing water quality testing and doing sanitary inspections, but I had not realized that there could be really standardized sanitary inspections for particular water points, and also the use of different images to know where exactly risks can be coming from. But also, I've been relating this water quality testing and sanitary inspections to water security in terms of access to water, where you have water that is acceptable by the community in terms of the color and taste. Yeah, I think this whole program really is shooting two birds rather with a stone, because now in a way we are addressing the real problem of water quality, but this also helps to improve the acceptability of water points that had a little bit lost, where people had lost hope in terms of bringing them back to make them understand how their source can be brought back to life, rather than thinking of punching a new borehole with meager resources available lately. So we are still ongoing, but I really have to appreciate you guys for bringing this up. It's quite interesting, especially for me and the context I'm in, and trying to relate a lot more here and there, looking at the social acceptability, look at how people are moving away from a particular technology that's not doing them well, but then when you try to talk to them and bring them back to life to understand that they contribute to what their source is and how they can mitigate a few issues, it's becoming a plus. I appreciate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. That's so encouraging to hear how this course has been helpful. And great to hear that it's been even helpful in your relationships with the communities and being able to guide them through ownership, maybe some more ownership of their water source themselves, and also giving them hope that they can improve their water source rather than having to start over and start from scratch. Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's awesome. Wow, we're already at the end of the hour. Um, I'm just gonna touch on real quick. I know that we had a few questions. Man, I wish we could have done some of this. Maybe next week we'll do some more of this. We had maybe a little bit low confidence on QA/QC. So we'll just put this up for now, just kind of a reminder. What our goal is with QA/QC, being that, before testing, we're looking to address preventable problems. During testing, we're hoping to catch problem as they're happening. And then after testing, we're hoping to prevent some of those repeatable problems. And the course talks a lot about different methods we can use to do some of these things. So planning our SOPs and our instructions really well, doing blanks and duplicate samples and things like that during testing, and then reviewing the data after testing. So if there are any specific questions about quality assurance or quality control, since that was a big topic for this unit, please feel free to put those in the chat, and then we'll make sure we come back and we answer those either probably between now and the next call. And if there are a lot of similar questions, we can make sure we talk about those as a group on the next call. But again, any questions on QA, QC, or anything else we didn't get to today, please feel free to put those in the chat. And we'll make sure we come back to those. I will have another meeting I need to hop to soon. But Tom, did you have anything else you wanted to add today? I know that went by so quick.
That's great. I was just going to show the scores from this week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But if people want to, I've got a bit more time. If people want to ask questions that feel pressing, I'm happy to stay on the call. I'll share my screen quickly.
There you go. Yes.
I'm just going to
Yeah.
share. And next Thursday is going to, is that
Oh,
our
yes.
last live session, Jessica?
Yes, next week.
Oh no, that's sad. Um, can you see my screen?
It says you've started screen sharing. There it goes.
Great, fantastic. So that's after round 2, after last week. We've had 2 rounds of the quiz so far. World Vision steaming already ahead. And we've had, again, great contributions from World Vision today. Very keen. Glad you can join us. So round 3, Group 1, you got 100 points for the Minda. Group 2, apologies, Rafael Prisca. We didn't get a chance to come to you today. I don't know if we had anyone from Group 3. Group 4, Ayabale, 200 points because you answered 2 questions, which gives us our running totals. World Vision still with 300 points today, smashing it, 1,500. So some catch up to do. Group 2, though, are the closest, but I think you're all doing great, and I'm sure you're working really hard, both with the assignments. We're enjoying studying those, so please do keep going through those, because we've got now moving into the final week. So we've been looking at week 5. Next week, week 6, we'll look at unit 4, data into action. So we will have a live session next Thursday. But Jessica, I understand that is the last live session. Oh, yeah, but don't worry
Yes.
about the points and the scoring. It's all just a bit of fun. What's important is that you're getting things out of this course that you find relevant, helpful. But I'm happy if people want more points. I'm happy to ask questions. But yeah, I'll stay on the line if there are any other questions.
Hi
Oh, yes.
Tom,
Oh,
I have a
oh,
question. Yeah.
please do.
Actually, I don't know, but like I have finished the units freebies for like for the learning. But when I come
Okay.
to the several time when I come back to see it again, it going to it not recorded. It's
Oh,
showing not I'm not starting that 0%
oh,
complete.
great.
So, but
Mm,
it's the testing everything like other section is also already ticked into that. But when I come
oh,
to that,
cool.
it's showing that it is 0% complete. I don't know what is
Mm,
any technical issues or or maybe maybe poor internet during like learning or not. But
we will
it
look
not
into that.
record. Yeah,
I'll
thank you.
look into that and come back to you. Complete report.
Yeah, we can look into that for you, Thon. As long as your quiz and your discussions are going through those are the 2 key points. The learning modules themselves don't have to be completed 100% because you can move around those as you want to. But we can check and make sure that your quizzes and your discussions definitely got recorded.
We will check. Okay. Any other issues you want to raise? If not, I have one last question, and Ayabala, you can answer it if you like, but you have an advantage. Aha, Fatia. pH, free chlorine, and turbidity, are they the baseline for water quality? What do people think? Is that your question, Fatia? If you want to come off and activate your microphone and ask the question, please do. what do people think to Fatia's question? Are those the three most important things? Why are we measuring those? Would anyone like to jump in? I'll stop sharing. Would anyone like to respond to Fatia's question? I think, Fatia, you're calling in from Ethiopia, I think. If you want to add to what you shared, please do. Yes, Tirivashi, over to you.
So I think these parameters, they offer us a baseline knowledge or data. For example, if you have a pH which is above 10, it's an alarm. We need to investigate why are we having a pH to that alkalinity side. Then for residual chlorine, if you don't find any residual chlorine, it shows that there's a possibility of microbiological contamination. If we have a high turbidity, it's an indicator for us to do further assessment. So yes, these baselines, but doesn't mean if we only test this, our water is safe for consumption for consumption. But they direct us to a certain direction, and they also help us. Let's say we don't have capacity to do a comprehensive test. If we just run these parameters, be able to tell if the water is okay for consumption or there's need for further investigation.
Thank you, Tirivashi. So my kind of follow-up question to you would be, well, what impact does having a high pH have for us, and what does that mean? And perhaps likewise for free chlorine and turbidity. But Ayabala, you've got your hand raised, so we'll go to you next. But Tirivashi, if you want to respond to my follow-up question, have a think, and we'll come back to you. But Ayabala?
I think having a pH a pH range of 8 to 10 can affect let's say people they want to do laundry. The matrix of water can affect domestic use of the water.
Thank you, Tirivashi. That's really helpful to hear and appreciate that. Yes, very high pH, very alkaline water, that can affect how effective lathering your soap can be, doing a good wash, and that can be a real frustration. And for livelihoods as well, could have an impact. Yes, Ayabele, go for it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Responding to, is it Fetia's question?
Yes.
I think for me, it's a bit contextual about the baseline indicators, because I totally agree with him on this, but I'm thinking it also depends on the technology that you are trying to front. If it's a hand pump, probably free chlorine may not be among, because now for a hand pump, what you are interested in most, if you are not doing shock chlorinations, you are interested in the pH, electrical conductivity, and yeah, majorly those ones, of course, coupled with a lot of sanitary inspections to keep giving you the risks where you belong, to think about other tests. But basically pH and the electrical conductivity for hand pumps will help you a lot in terms of knowing how much your water is aggressive, the selection of materials that should suit that, because that will already address what people think about the water point in terms of the taste and the color, which also makes a great deal. And when it's about piped water systems, residual chlorine, I can't do away with it. Yeah, of course, pH, turbidity. Yeah, these parameters should be there. So for me, I think depending on the technology you are going for, you look for these very critical indicators and make them baseline. But like we have been seeing from the course behind, the benchmark is to make good use of sanitary inspections, and then you confirm your risks with water quality testing, however small you start. Yeah, I thank you.
Very good. Thank you for the reminder, Ayabele, that sanitary inspections has a key role to play. Water quality testing can help us get a baseline, like you say, to be aware of what issues there might be, some of which could be resolved from addressing risk factors that come through the sanitary inspections. And then that may help us decide, okay, how often do we want to test? What do we want to test for? But having a baseline is really helpful. Fatia, does that answer your question? Do you have anything you want to add? Or anything that you don't feel has been answered? Feel free to type in the chat or unmute and speak, Fatia. Fatia, sounds like that's fine. That's answered your question, hopefully. Yes, super. Thank you. Tiruvasha, your hand is raised. Is that just from earlier, or do you? No, that's just from earlier. That's fine. Any other questions before we close? I can stay online for a moment. Any other questions? You've got a couple more weeks, so do make the most of your access to the course. For the forums, oh yes, hi Fatia. If you're coming on camera and want to ask a question, please do. Coming off mute. Fatia, do you have another question? If you can't use the audio but want to type it in the chat, please do. If not, if there are no other questions, then we will close the call. But I wanted to ask one more question just as a last gasp. How much does it cost to do microbiological testing? Let me check this out. Fecal coliform testing. How much does it cost if you were to approach the one that Ayabale mentioned? If you approached the National Water and Sewerage Corporation of Kampala, the National Water Sewage Corporation of Kampala, how much do you think it's going to cost in US dollars to test for microbiological contamination? We're talking total coliforms. How much do you think it's going to cost? Type in the chat, and that's my last question for you. And anything that's close to the answer, you're going to get points on your team. And then we're going to close the call. So if you want to unmute, speak, say anything, please do. If not, you're free to leave the call. But that was my last question for us, just as a closing question, a bit of fun. How much do you think it costs to do a test for total coliform bacteria with the National Water and Sewerage Corporation of Uganda? How much do you think it costs? They're based in Kampala. Any ideas? Type in the chat. If not, we'll close the call. Not a problem.
I think if it's okay, I would first find out, because in the recent days I haven't.
A guess. Yeah, but a guess. What about a guess? If you were to guess. The
I guess
closest
could
guess.
be
Guess.
that is 150,000 shillings in Uganda. I needed to convert it to the dollar.
So whilst you're doing a conversion, Tan in Vietnam says nearly $7. So what you're quoting me, is it cheaper in Kampala or in Vietnam? $7 in Vietnam. Tan, that sounds good value. That sounds good value to me. $7. I don't know how much it costs here in the UK, but $7 in Vietnam sounds good. total bacterial coliforms, 37,000, did you say?
Wow.
37,000 shillings, is that right? What's that in US dollars, roughly, do we think?
So yeah, around $40. That's when that's an approximation, because I think the last time I checked on their price, some time has moved, maybe a year ago. I'm not sure whether they have changed or not, because with national been trying the ministry, which is a little cheaper compared to national water.
Okay, well, Tiruvashe, who's looks like you're calling in from Zimbabwe, is saying 30 to 40 US dollars in Harare. It looks like you can find the price list. Can I put the price list link? I'll put the price link on. This is what I'm seeing online from the National Water and Sewage Corporation. May 2023, they've got their price list. So curiosity has drawn me there. We're going to draw our session to a close. Look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to be looking at data into action. What are we going to do with all this information we're collecting on risk factors, water quality results? I hope you found this session helpful. Feel free to reach out to us through the platform if you have any outstanding questions, and have a great week.
Thank you. A great week too.
Thank you so much. And if you're watching, if anyone's watching from group 3, join the session next week. Join it next week. Get some more points for your team. Same with group 2.
I will encourage group 4 members to also come on board.
Group 4 as well, exactly. Group 4, come on,
And
group
group
4.
one.
And group 1. So this is your chance. Okay, you've got 2 minutes you've got 2 minutes to call out your group members. Now go. People watching will be watching this back, so you need to call out your group members all at once. 1, 2, 3, go. Group 1, group 1, group 2, group 2, group 2.
Group one, we are waiting, group one.
We're waiting. Very good. Thank you so much, everybody. Great to connect with you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.